So, this is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, and this is a review of Han Solo, a Star Wars story. Yes, it will have spoilers, plot spoilers. Yes, this review will have spoilers. I know it just came out today, so I will warn you when the spoilers happen. But for the first part, maybe not so much. It's kind of everything the Red Letter Media Nerd Crew was joking about, actually. Like, well, it's going to have these things, and it's going to have a Meet Chewbacca, and it's going to have the Kessel Run, and it's going to have how he won the Millennium Falcon in Canto Bight or something. Or that's the Casino Planet. It wasn't Canto Bight, actually. It was another planet. It was not the same planet. Different one. I don't think it was supposed to be. Anyway, so yeah, so they're not connected. Oh man, yeah, yes. Ron Howard apparently reshot 70% of the movie, completely changed it. It has dark undertones, but it's mainly lighthearted. Young Han Solo starts out as a pilot and then wants to go into the infantry. Well, he wants to be a pilot, but he ends up in the infantry. He ends up meeting a bandit rogue guy who is Woody Harrelson playing a bad guy named Beckett, which is weird. And then there's like a chick called Kira, who's basically Kira Nerys from Star Trek, crossed with Kiara from very much from Airbender. So yeah, there's a lot of odd choices. There's a feminist robot lady that's a robot. There's Lando Calrissian's girlfriend is a robot, apparently. That's weird. There's a Wookiee that's a monster in it. It ends up being somebody familiar. There's in order to explain the movie, you kind of have to have spoilers. So you can skip the movie review if you want to get the spoilers happening. All of these things that other people joked about it and guessed at, just to fill in the gaps, and what the expanded universe books also already did. They pretty much went there. They went by the numbers, step by step, and they went there. They said, okay, let's show Han Solo was in the infantry for like 2 years or something with the Empire. Okay, let's show that. Let's have Han Solo and meet the main bad guy, and then later meet Lando Calrissian, and then have him almost win the Millennium Falcon, but not. And then, because he's going to win it later. We know he is, because he did. It's telling you stuff you already know. It's not like Rogue One, where everybody got killed. But it's telling you stuff you're going to know. The Kessel Run, they essentially, even though they said they weren't going to do any expanded universe novel stuff, or expanded TV show stuff, they did anyway. They just didn't give them credit. Well, they kind of did. The two directors that originally directed the movie did get a director-producer credit. Ron Howard got the full director credit. And those other two did start with it. That's kind of where some of the movie actually doesn't work. I'm kind of agreeing with the critics that have given it roughly 68% of Rotten Tomatoes or something. I wouldn't say it's that bad. It's definitely 3 stars, maybe 3.5. It's not 60%. I mean, 68, 70%. It's better than 78%. 3 stars out of 5, 2.5 stars out of 5 would be 50%. So yeah, it's in the I would say it's in the 80s, not the 60s, late 60s. It's not a it's flawed, but it's not a bad Star Wars like special. Basically, I would treat it as a TV special. That sort of a thing. They do address the Wookiee clan in the movie. And Chewbacca's family. They do address that, and they make it imply that the Empire has them captive. So it's and they set up this other character, Kira, and everything. That name is just like annoying because that's a Star Trek person, Kira Nerys, and that just throws it all off hearing that name when they say it over and over again, Kira or Kiara. But yeah, that's not her fault. Yeah. And she kind of looks like not a visitor, so that's who they were thinking. Resistance fighter, yeah. And I wonder if the Resistance fighter girl is the mother of Rey later on. Maybe not. They're probably not going to do that. That'd be stupid. Some minor spoilers there, because in my review, there are going to be plot spoilers, because the movie, plot spoilers. So if you have not seen it, don't watch the review, but watch the Fanime stuff. I've seen it. The review, it goes through the motions. I'm kind of giving you some plot details. I probably won't go into all of it. Maybe Mark's Cards will eventually see it and go into all of it. It doesn't subvert expectations at all. It's very safe. It has elements that are just, some of them are just a weird choice of casting. Some of the Trek core people were pointing this out earlier. It's like the guy that got to play Han Solo, Ray Earhart, is quite short to be playing Han Solo. He's a little shorter than me, 5'10" in my socks. Maybe 5'11" if I stand up really high. Harrison Ford is 6 feet tall. And that's 2.5 inches or something there. So it's really obvious this guy is. How the heck did he grow 2 inches? 2.5 inches or something. And he really doesn't look the part, or have the swagger. It's kind of like when they recast Kirk in the Abrams movies and made him blue-eyed and sort of made him shorter. Odd casting. His casting. Woody Harrelson doesn't seem to know what movie he's in. He's in some kind of weird Western. I mean, it's supposed to be kind of a Western, Star Wars. But, there's a several-armed monkey creature in it. Yeah. I'm yawning, but it wasn't a bad movie. No, it was it had potential to be good. I just needed something. It probably, in the most part, wasn't necessary. Because we don't really need to know Han Solo's background. We know those 2 or 3 things he mentioned in A New Hope, which was known as originally just the first Star Wars movie before 1994 when they called it, A New Hope, and they were going to make a new trilogy down the road and call it Episode 4 and all that. That wasn't in there originally. And of course we knew they were going to explain away the Kessel Run, which was a throwaway line, as the Red Letter Media said from Harrison Ford. And it was a line they punched through in Episode 7 as well. Mentioned the Kessel Run. And the Spice Mines, which are a ripoff of Dune, should have had Patrick Stewart in there somewhere, because he was in the original Dune movie. But the Kessel Run just, they do that. They do the Kessel, they show it. It's not a race, though. It wasn't. Well, it sort of is, in that they're chasing it. But the Kessel Run, the situation with the Kessel Run years ago was that George Lucas didn't know what he was writing and didn't know that a parsec was a real thing. So when he put in that line, throwaway line there about, like, I did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. All the astronomers, like, facepalm. Because a parsec is 3 point something 14 light years. It's a unit of distance traveled in a distance light travels in a year. So if they're implying light speed travel in a year, it would take him 3 years to do it. 3 years to do it. Saying it's 12 parsecs, or, 12 times 3 years, would mean that Han Solo was traveling for decades to get there, but faster somehow than some other number. Now, this movie tries to explain that away by saying, no one has done the Kessel Run in 20 parsecs. And then he ends up doing it in 12. So they could throw out this parsec thing. The movie tries to wash over that by making it sound like the word parsec isn't our word for parsec. It's their word for parsec. So it's not really what they're talking about. Although they kind of smudged that when they said, oh, they're going to go light speed and speed of light and stuff like that. They're not really going light speed, though. It's hyperspace. If they were just going light speed, it would still take them however long it takes to get to each planet. For instance, Earth to Alpha Sol, the sun, to Alpha Centauri, is 4.22 light years. Ooh. It is, it's a little over a parsec away. Yep. Yeah. A little over a parsec. Parsec and then some. But another light year. Which means that if ship left the sun, it would take 4.5 years at light speed, couldn't really, but someday, to get to Alpha Centauri. Now, in science fiction and fantasy, we can throw that out the window and say, well, they've got this nifty hyperspace wormhole thing, and what they say when the Lucasfilm says light speed, they mean hyperspace. They mean way faster than light speed, because they can get from one planet to the other instantly. It's faster than warp drive in Star Trek. And it would have to be, because the evil empire apparently has not only hyperspace, but hyper radio, and is able to talk instantly to other planets right off the bat. Because otherwise they wouldn't have an empire. You wouldn't be able to control the galaxy if it took you 8 years to get to a planet. You're like, I'm going to take you over, ha! And they'd be like, oh, 2 decades later you show up. It's like, well, yeah, you're going to take us over, right? So they have to be there instantaneously, as though all of the different planets in the story are really, think of it as one big planet, or one big realm, or whatever. And they're just able to go from one to the other, because they're not even a light year away. Because they couldn't be. So yes, 12 parsecs doesn't make any sense. But in this movie they tried to retcon it. It makes sense. Yeah, and there was a kraken critter living in a wormhole. They stole that from Lovecraft, and they also stole that from. There's a lot of weird stuff. Yeah, they also steal the hyperfuel. That's a plot point in there. They have to steal hyperfuel from a train, and that goes wrong horribly, and the smuggler captain's girlfriend is killed. Spoiler. And then they have to go on a mission to get the stuff back, and that leads to they have to get another shipment of the stuff. So the unrefined stuff is at this on the other side of the Kessel. So they're going to go to Kessel and get the unrefined stuff and then come back. And even though it's hyper explosive, even though they're under attack at one point by the Empire, the blockade and the whole wormhole, it's like really, nope. Anyway, make things work. And there's an evil bad guy that's funny enough played by the guy that played Vision in Marvel Comics. He's playing a bad guy. And then the What a Twist ending. It's major spoiler. If you don't want to play the What a Twist ending, don't play it. Darth Maul shows up from Star Wars Rebels. So this story is canon with the TV show Star Wars Rebels, which is a Disney product. It's a spin-off of Star Wars, the Clone Wars, before they They ended the Clone Wars one because Disney bought them out. They started their own and called it Rebels. So this cartoon, I haven't seen any of it, even though I think I own the part of the first season. I just haven't watched it. And I understand that Darth Maul shows up again with like bionic legs in the torso. He shows up in this one on a hologram with bionic legs in a torso, so apparently that's canon. But that's dumb. That's just one of the dumbest scenes in the movie. It's like the audience was like, "What? Who is this? What?" Lady next to me is like, "Who was this funny red-headed guy? She didn't even know." Yeah, she was there with her kids. Yeah, there was like, it's Darth Maul. Yeah, it was all. That's the guy from the Phantom Menace, and it doesn't make any sense. And I know what I'm talking about. I knew all the other stuff about the Kessel Run, but yeah, that did not make any sense. I don't know why they didn't just choose to use Vader in that scene. Have Vader go, ha ha ha, evil lady, I send you to your mission. Kind of would have made sense. Instead of Darth Maul, throw that in there just because, whatever. It's odd. Now, if it wasn't Darth Maul, then why did they go through, and it was just some other alien that looked like him? Why go through all the trouble of doing that? It's an odd casting choice. I'm not sure why they did that. But yeah, but other than that, it's a fine movie. It's okay. That's just the one bit in there. It doesn't ruin it. It's not a deal breaker. The guy playing Lando Calrissian nails the part. He's very good as Lando Calrissian. He just nailed the part. He's just like, oh man. And he has a thing for robots. Interesting. He implied that he fucked it. Yeah. Of course he did. Because Lando Calrissian. Totally would. You do a droid. Sex bot. Considering what that thing looked like, I guess he doesn't mind if the lights are out. Yeah, I guess he just, take anything. Inspiration. Yeah, so, yeah, I guess that's my review of this movie. It's fine. I haven't thrown out everything, some of it. And there was an odd scene on a hologram. Somebody talking to Darth Maul for some reason. I guess they wanted to be canon with their own cartoon, which is, yeah. It's not really integral to the plot at all, unless they're going to do a Han Solo 2, which I doubt it, because, it's probably not going to make as much money as the other ones, because, yeah, they had to reshoot most of it, 2/3 of it. And Ron Howard did a fairly good job patching it up, and, it left in the scene involving Marlo Fuck You, which was funny. Apparently he liked that scene, so that's in there. The character from and he's credited in the story. So that was cool. They left that in. They said that scene is fine. Marlo is that performance was good. As he sort of went kind of gave up and left the gambling table. As an alien dude. So cool. Another trans-tech guy in another Marvel movie. Yeah. It's really hard to find the one that was in Rogue One. Yeah. They haven't called about Episode 8. Or 9. I mean, I wasn't in 8. I wasn't in 7 either. Mind the fuck you was listed in the credits. Fuck. Yes, he's in the credits. What the hell? What was? Okay. Was it like a joke in there or what? It was also an alien. Sure. Now if fuck you. Maybe she was the robot. Yeah, the pristine Millennium Falcon is in the movie. Bet you know that. Oh, Corellian freighter. You get to see the planet Corellia well at night. You get to see it. You get to see the rebels, the beginning of the resistance. And this movie would have to take place somewhere in the timeline in the 18 years between Star Wars Episode 3 and Episode 4. I'm guessing that because the New Hope stuff hasn't happened yet in the story, and that Rogue One hasn't happened yet either, that this movie takes place roughly 5 years before the events of Rogue One, which segued right into A New Hope. So this is 5 years before that. And if they do a Boba Fett movie, it would have to be somewhere in there. I hope they don't, because really, Boba Fett, kind of already did that. Episode 2. But maybe they can kill Darth Maul again, but this time, cut his head off, because then they can't possibly put him back together. Anyway, Darth Maul. Ew. Ew. Bad guy with his laser coupling thing. I don't think that was supposed to be Kento Bites, because it didn't say so, and it wasn't. And it didn't look like it. So it's just a casino planet. Another one. Because the one in the other movie looked completely kind of different. And it's only like 30 years later it wouldn't look like that. Because Episode 7 is 30 years after Jedi. The story is like 5 years after. 5 years before A New Hope. Episode 4. Yeah. And probably 2 or 3 years before. Yeah. Well, actually, Rogue One is right next to A New Hope, so this is still 5 years before that. Probably, roughly. Ooh. The Kessel Run. And a slightly new musical score, too, just to be different.